Hi, everyone, and welcome back. Today is day 5 of week 5, and we are on our last day of vocabulary and poetry. So let's review what we've learned so far. So far, we have learned a few poetic devices terms, and we've been keeping track of them on this chart. Either you made one like I did, or you printed off the one I posted on RPS at home. Doesn't matter which one you use. So far we've learned alliteration, rhyme, rhythm, onomatopoeia, personification, simile, and metaphor. And today we will add 2 more to our chart and we will be done with our chart. So let's go over our agenda for today. All right, so today again is weekday, day 5. Today I'm going to introduce today's learning goal, our I can statement. We're going to learn some new vocabulary. We're going to read a new poem entitled I Practiced and discuss our new vocabulary and poetry device. We're going to review, and then I have some fun independent practice for you guys today. It is not what we've had the first 4 days. It'll be a different type of independent practice, which I think you'll really enjoy. So let's get started with our I can statement. Our I can statement is I can identify and describe repetition and hyperbole in a poem. Let's talk about what those are. So get out your chart and let's add those 2 words, repetition and hyperbole, to our chart. And let's define them. Repetition, the same words or lines used in a poem again and again. And today our poem will have examples of repetition. Next, we have hyperbole, which is creating an exaggerated version of reality. To exaggerate is to make something seem maybe bigger than what it really is, making it seem worse than really it is. Sometimes we tell exaggerated stories to make them sound more excited. When an example would be maybe you went and caught a fish and it was really this big, but when you got home and told the story, you said it was this big. So you exaggerated it. You made an exaggerated version of reality. So in our poem today, we'll have examples of both of those and we will look for those as we read today. So go ahead and pause the video and add those to your chart. All right, so let's go over some vocabulary words that are in our poem today. And again, the name of our poem is I Practice. Our first word for today is karaoke. Karaoke is a form of entertainment where people perform and sing the words to popular songs. I think you all know what karaoke is, or at least have seen it before. The next word is prime, and they use the word prime in the phrase past my prime, which means to be too old to do the things you used to be. And our last word is dread, which means great fear, or sometimes dread can mean to not look forward to something. Like you are dreading doing your math homework, or you are dreading taking out the trash. You don't look forward to it, or you have a great fear of it. All right, so those are our vocabulary terms for today. Let's go ahead and take a look at our poem. Today, the title of our poem is I Practice by John Arno Lawson. And remember, as we read this today, we are looking for hyperbole, which is an exaggerated version of a story or something you're doing. And we are also looking for repetition, something that repeats itself over and over again. So let's read I Practice by John Arno Lawson. I practiced in the shower. I practiced in the car. I practiced in a downtown karaoke sushi bar. I practiced in the basement. I practiced in my head. I practiced on my bicycle. I practiced in my bed. But the fact is, though I act as if I practice all the time, it seems I'm either stuck before or getting past my prime. I practiced in the darkness. I practiced while I read. I practiced in full confidence. I practiced full of dread. I practiced for the living. I practiced for the dead. Maybe I should maybe I practiced when I should have just been doing it instead. And that is the end. So first, let's talk about hyperbole, or it's an exaggerated version. Pretty much this whole poem is one big example of hyperbole. He's exaggerating how much and where he practices. So, of course, he's maybe talking about practicing the piano because there's a picture of a piano. It doesn't say that it's the piano. It could be any form of instrument or sport, but we're going to go with it's practicing the piano. So, could he really practice it in the shower or in the car, on his bicycle, or where else does he say? In the darkness, practice while he read. So, in this poem, he is exaggerating where and when he is practicing. He's not really practicing in all these places or at these times, but he's trying to make the point, or she is trying to make the point that they are practicing a lot and all the time and just a lot in general. So that is our example of hyperbole. Now, our repetition is pretty obvious, but I want you to look for it first in the poem, and then we will talk about it. So look for the repetition in this poem, the repeating of lines. Okay, so you should have noticed that in these lines, over and over again, it states, I practiced, I practiced, I practiced, right? So that is our example of repetition for this poem. So today we learned about 2 more poetic devices, which was repetition and hyperbole. I want you to go back and get your chart out and do 2 examples here. You can use examples from our poem today, or you can come up with your own. So go ahead and pause the video and fill that in. So altogether, we learned 9 new vocabulary terms that have to do with poetry. So we learned 9 new terms this week. And then we learned about probably about 15 to 20 new vocabulary words from reading our poem. So you guys learned a lot of new vocabulary this week. Good job. Proud of you. Today for your independent practice, I have something a little bit different. I don't have a poem for you to read. I have something else. If you go back to the RPS homepage, there is a link for it, and I will show you what it looks like. If you did not know, this weekend is Mother's Day, this Sunday, which is May the 10th. So I have given you an assignment to write a Mother's Day poem. You can write it for your mom, your grandma, your aunt, or anyone, a sister, someone that's a mother figure today. And this will just show you some different ways you can write a Mother's Day poem. So first, it gives you directions that you have to have rhyming of AABB pattern. You don't need to do that. I just want you to write a poem. It doesn't have to rhyme, or it can rhyme. It is up to you. But it also gives you things that rhyme with May, since Mother's Day is in May. It gives you rhyming words with mom, gives you rhyming words with you, me, and everything. So if you do want to rhyme your poem, here are some good ways and words to rhyme with. Then it gives you a place to brainstorm. Of course, you don't need to print this out to do this. You can just do it on a regular piece of paper. And then, so you want to brainstorm first before you do your final copy. It gives you an example of one. And then it gives you some paper to do your final copy on, if you are able to print this out. If not, I'm sure your mom will appreciate, your mom, your aunt, whoever you're writing it for will appreciate whatever type of paper you have to use it and write your poem. Remember though, you do want to do a rough draft and brainstorming first before you write your final copy, because you want your final copy to be as perfect as it can be for your mom on Mother's Day. So that is going to be your independent practice days to write a poem. And I strongly encourage you to use some of the poetic devices in your poem. You don't have to, but it is a way to make your poem a little bit more fun, a little bit more interesting. So try to use your alliteration, your rhyming, your rhythm, maybe a hyperbole or some repetition in your poem would be fun to use. It is up to you. So go ahead and write your mom a poem for Mother's Day. It's this Sunday. No matter what you do, I'm sure she will be very excited to get it and very happy. All right. So I hope you guys enjoyed this week's lesson as much as I did. Keep learning at home, do the best you can. And I look forward to seeing you guys maybe sometime in the future. Um, if not, be good for your parents, and I will see you later. Bye.